Trump is only a surface level guy for the most part. Stephen Miller, I think, is a principal organizer of a lot of what we're seeing at the granular level. And then you've got with RFK Jr. and Tulsi, I think they're largely following orders. RFK Jr. has his mission.
Yeah.
I love him. He's fantastic.
I do too.
And he came in and they said, here are the parameters by which you can accomplish what you want to do, but don't tread over here, like where it could cost us. So RFK is getting a lot of really great stuff done. I think RFK would be a different president, but I think he's like, I'll stay in my lane. Tulsi's the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I think I got to be honest. I think Miller is largely the guy behind everything.
When you listen to him talk and his stance, you've got to come to that conclusion.
Yeah, he seems to be the guy who knows what's going on and is giving this, and his strategies are effective and clever. I think Trump has a mission and agenda, but I think it's largely surface level, to be honest. And Miller is the deep roots guy.
Well, I think Trump's finally maybe got some good advisors, but when you look at, I mean, I don't think we've seen it yet. I mean, some people that look at it deeply see him dismantling the whole debt system, the whole system of debt worldwide. You know.
Well, this will be apocalyptic.
Yeah, it will be.
It's not the end of humanity necessarily, but I think the global economy will collapse. Okay, so let me put it like this. I always be careful with predictions. Based on what has happened today, if we were to fast forward, skipping over any potential variables, 10 years, the economy is completely collapsed and you can't find a toothbrush anywhere. And the reason for this is that the next generation, and this is near global, is non-existent. Generation Alpha, whose oldest people are 15, is only 42 million. And that's the high estimate. 40 million is the low estimate. That's half the size of Gen Z and half the size of millennials. Now, when I bring this up to people, they say, oh, no, don't worry, Tim. Those jobs will be replaced by AI, so it's good. My response, your customers cannot be replaced by AI.
Right.
Yeah, right?
So your businesses will collapse.
Yeah.
Supermarkets will evaporate. There's an economic principle that the average person does not understand. They look at things like surface level numbers and think, if there's 10 grocery stores and 10 people, or let's say 10,000 people, and you subtract 5,000 people, you'll have 5 grocery stores, right? Because without those, because each grocery store can sustain 1,000 people. Incorrect. You'll have 0 grocery stores. The reason is each grocery store operates on thin margins of around 2%. So if you have 10 grocery stores that have a 2% profit margin, just barely scraping by and covering the cost of all their staff, and your population collapses by 5%, one grocery store doesn't see a 5% collapse. Every grocery store will see a 0.5% collapse. What happens if your population collapses by 50%? Every grocery store will see a 50% collapse, or at least it'll be split up, a 10% collapse. What happens then? So we've actually seen this with in certain like African countries and stuff when it comes to shoes. But one example I'll give is really, really simple. You have a town of 100 people. They have one shoe store. One cobbler makes all the shoes for everybody, and it's fine. One day, a oil company comes in and says, we need to hire 100 more people and bring them here to run this company. Overnight, the population has doubled. And the cobbler says, I'm sorry, I'm at capacity. I can't make any more shoes. I'm too busy. So one guy says, I've got an idea. I'll open my own shoe store because there's demand for it. There are now 2 shoe stores, each servicing 100 people each. After a few years, the oil drilling company says, we are done, the wells are in place, and we don't need you anymore, you're all fired. Now there are 2 shoe stores, but only 100 people. Well, they needed 100 people to sustain the shoe store, so what happens? Does everybody just go to the old shoe store again? No. They divide their business among each. Now each of these stores is saying, I'm slowly building up debt because I don't have enough customers to sustain my store. I can't pay my taxes. I can't pay my electric bill. I'm going to put it on credit cards. After a few months of this, the credit card bills pile up, they go into default and shut down, and now you have no shoe stores anymore. Now 100 people are saying we have nothing but bare feet. Now after a few years, someone will open a new shoe store and it'll start to recover, but you will get a depression. With the population collapse that's coming among Gen Alpha, that is going to happen, and there is nothing that can alleviate it. Now, that being said, that's nothing based on today. For all I know, tomorrow someone invents the robo-customer who for some reason needs to eat food and starts buying from grocery stores. But pending some variable I can't see, which is incredibly likely to happen, meaning I'm probably wrong, the prediction is with population collapse will come a total economic disaster on every level.
Isn't that happening in Japan, the population?
That's why they're bringing in 1 million Indian and African refugees, desperately trying to create customers for their businesses. And what have we seen? Horrifyingly, tons of stories of crime and rape popping up in Japan.
Right.
Well, what do you do when you have no kids? Their birth rate's below 1.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, yeah, we're cooked.
So we have to have more kids, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's you need to have more kids, but there's nothing you can do because we have a 20-year lag. So even if everyone right now had 2 kids, every Gen Z. So millennials are aging out of being able to have kids, which is kind of wild if you think about it.
Yeah.
The oldest millennials are in their early
old.
40s.
Fucking old.
So this means that millennial women are not going to have kids soon. In fact, a 35-year-old woman who gets pregnant, it's called a geriatric pregnancy.
Oh my God, yeah.
So right now, Gen Z are supposed to be having kids. If every single one of them had 2 kids, then Generation Bravo, they're calling it, because nobody wants to say beta.
I've heard from so many people who experienced post-COVID vax side effects, some in my family, and the stories are heartbreaking. One woman told me that after getting the jab and then a booster, she was never the same. She said her whole body felt like it was burning from the inside out, and she couldn't eat. She was exhausted and in pain, and no one in the medical system had any answers for her. Stories like that show just how isolating, how scary it can be, which is why I want to tell you about the wellness company's Ultimate Spike Detox. Developed by Dr. Peter McCullough, this doctor-formulated blend is designed to help your body clear spike proteins while also supporting your immune system, heart, and brain. It combines 7 natural ingredients. Nattokinase to help break down spike protein, bromelain to support immune health, and turmeric with black pepper to reduce inflammation and repair cells. If you or someone you love is still suffering, don't wait. Go to twc.health/RB and use code RB for 10% off plus free shipping.
Would be, if it was replacement, you'd have 80 million. But that's not going to make up for the deficit among Gen Alpha.
Okay.
So we're still looking at a 40 million person deficit. This would mean that no matter what happens, Gen Alpha is about to enter the workforce at 15 years old in the next few years. The boomers are at what's called the mortality shelf. The oldest boomers are 79. That's mortality.
Yeah.
What we're expecting to see right now, there's about 60 some odd million boomers, 20 to 40 million deaths in the next 10 years. A massive portion of the market will disappear. Customers will disappear. And these are the ones who hold property and own corporate equities.
We have all the money.
Indeed. And purchasing power.
Yeah.
So people rely on boomers right now largely because they're the ones buying stuff. When they leave, we will not get a comparable replacement with Gen Alpha. The economy will take a hit, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Humans will survive. I'm not saying that it's going to be the end of the world. It just means that the luxuries that millennials grew up with will be gone, and Gen Alpha is going to be like, this sucks. And the joke is you're going to be able to say, you know, when I was your age, we could watch any show we wanted at any point. I'm like, really? Yeah. Wish we could afford a TV these days, but a TV goes for $20,000, so only really rich people have them. Seems like we're heading back to, and this may be a good thing in a lot of ways.
The Depression of the 30s.
Not necessarily the Depression, but, you know, all of human history, we were farmers.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah.
They would be wise to get even an acre and learn to farm it and grow food. I mean, I always thought that that was coming too, and that, you know, the currency would become homegrown food. A tomato, I said way back, that'd be more valuable than a car. Because
You know,
people
it's-
will always need to eat.
An organic tomato.
That's what I said.
People are going to be like, is that a real tomato? I'm like, yup, shut up. It's not a Monsanto RX-59.
That's right.
Nope.
And the most wealthy people would be the Mexican immigrants that know how to grow them.
The Honduran farmers. That'd be a fun movie where it's a nightmare dystopia in the future, and someone's got in a glass refrigerated case an organic original heirloom tomato, and they're like, if that can that's worth $1 million or the
I'll
equivalent,
trade you my car for it.
Here's a funny one for you. I remember, Alex Jones used to always say, "Buy your gold, people."
Yeah.
And my thing was always, if the economy really did collapse, the government collapsed. Imagine a guy's walking down the street, and there's two guys walking down the street. One guy's got a bunch of gold, and there's a guy sitting on the side of the road, and he's eating a sandwich. And these two guys are hungry, and one guy says, "I will give you 10 pieces of gold for that sandwich." The guy next to him says, "I'll share my bottle of water with you." Does he buy the gold or the water? What does he trade for? The water is the obvious question, or obvious answer. So water will be the most valuable thing.
That's what I think too.
That's true.
Gold.
It's already happening. Like Iran, they say, is totally out of water.
Wow. Yep. And water is the essence of life. So if you don't got water, you ain't got nothing.
Plus, you can only go 3 days without water. You can go a lot longer without food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you
premiums
can
up.
eat some stuff you might not want to, but
Yeah.
getting something to drink, that's tough. That's
I guess that's the way it has to go because, it will, I guess, evolve around a new value for value money system instead of inflated bullshit, where it's like, oh, well, the dollar is now worth $5,000,
Or the
It
other way
will
around.
Now, or whatever it
$5,000
is.
becomes equal to $1 today.
Right.
Yep.
Because it has to come down to value for value.
Well, the funny thing is, like with Bitcoin, there are a lot of people that say Bitcoin is a scam because nothing could rise that much value in that much amount of time. And then you smirk at them and say, you are correct. The dollar has collapsed. The Bitcoin has gone up in value based on its adoption, but the real scary thing is the value of Bitcoin comes from the dollar losing buying power.
Right.
Oh, you see, my patience is growing thin.